What's up, HSM? This is Kellen. I'm so excited to be with you guys today to continue through our one-word devotionals. And first, I want to give a major shout out to all of our leaders that have done one of these so far. You guys are awesome. You've given us some amazing words to think about, and I'm so grateful for you. Well, today for our one-word devotional, the one word we're going to be focusing on is urgency. And in the spirit of Christmas, we're going to be jumping into Luke chapter 2 and taking a look at that very first Christmas story. So just to set the stage a little bit, we see at the beginning of Luke chapter 2 that the emperor at the time, Caesar Augustus, he's issued a census that the entire Roman world, they need to return back to their hometown in order to be recorded in this census. Well, Joseph, Jesus' father, he's from the town of Bethlehem. So he goes on a journey with Mary, Jesus' mother, as she's pregnant, to return back to the town of Bethlehem. Well, long story short, while they're in the town of Bethlehem, Mary goes into labor, and she gives birth to Jesus in this barn-like area, and she places him in a lowly manger. Right after that, some angels appear to shepherds nearby, and they tell them about what has just happened. They tell them about this baby that has just been born. And that brings us to Luke chapter 2, verse 15. It says, "When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, 'Let's go.' They said, 'Let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about.' Verse 16 says, "So they hurried off. They hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby who was lying in the manger. When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told to them about this child. And all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them." Guys, I read that very first Christmas story, and I look at the shepherds' reaction, and the first thing that comes to mind is that when something really matters to you, you'll attach urgency to it. There's our word right there. When something really matters to you, you'll attach urgency to it. Guys, I look at the shepherds and I realize that their top priority was Jesus. So their first reaction when they had just been told about this baby that had been born, they looked at one another and they said, "Let's go." They said, "Let's go. Let's see this thing that we've just been told about." And the next verse tells us they didn't take their time to get there. Verse 16 tells us they hurried off. And I think about that in the context of my own life. And honestly, I don't know if I always attach the same type of urgency to my relationship with Jesus. Especially during this Christmas time when everything is so busy. And I'm trying to pack in all these festivities. I love watching Christmas movies, listening to Christmas music, and participating in everything that comes along with Christmas. But oftentimes, I allow Jesus to take the back seat. And maybe you're like me and it's because of the busyness of this season, or maybe it's something else. Maybe it has to do with some family issues, or it has something to do with COVID going on right now, or whatever it is. Your focus is over here, and you've allowed Jesus to be all the way over there. You're not attaching urgency to your relationship with Jesus. And I think a benchmark that we can look at is, are we spending time with Jesus on a daily basis? Are we opening up our Bibles and are we trying to learn more about him? Are we trying to seek after him? Are we spending time in prayer? Are we doing each of these things to attach urgency to our relationships with Jesus? And if your answer is yes, I'm proud of you, because that's not an easy thing to do. But if you're like me and oftentimes your answer is no, that you're not always spending time in God's word, you're not attaching this urgency to your relationship with Jesus, then I want to encourage you to right now to take a step forward in your relationship. I want to urge you right now to, over this next week, as we lead into the week of Christmas, to start spending time with Jesus on a daily basis. Guys, let's be like the shepherds in this story. Let's say, let's go. Let's say, let's go to our relationship with Jesus, and let's hurry off, as the next verse tells us. I love you guys. I hope this was an encouragement to you. We'll see you next week.